Thank you for listening to BizPod with me, Paul.
And me, Rachel.
Our weekly business English podcast where we talk about the news, social media, and hot topics from a business point of view. You'll get a podcast and links to the articles we discuss. This way you can share your thoughts too. Join us as we discuss what's on our minds this week.
I understand you want to talk to me about chickens today, Paul.
Well, let's correct the vocabulary first. Can you tell me what is a chicken?
It's a bird.
Yeah. What kind of bird is a chicken?
It's a bird that lays eggs.
No, it's not. Hens lay eggs.
Ah, okay.
What do chickens do?
Well, that's a cockerel.
Exactly. Yeah. So chickens don't lay eggs, hens lay eggs.
Okay, but chicken is the breed.
I think chicken is the collective term just for the breed perhaps.
Okay, so let's just talk about chickens, yeah?
No, let's talk about hens.
Okay, let's talk about hens. But the title of the article is The European Towns That Give Away Free Chickens, not
Well,
hens.
yeah, but it's technically it's incorrect because they're not giving away chickens, they're giving away hens.
So no cockerels.
Although there is a cockerel in the picture.
Aha.
That's a cockerel, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it is important to distinguish between a hen and a cockerel because the hen is the female and the hen is where you get your eggs from. Mm-hmm. The cockerel is the thing you eat.
But you also have chickens that you breed to kill and eat.
Yeah, but they're cockerels.
Yeah, but they don't turn into cockerel is a mature male chicken. And a chicken on its own that's male, I would say, or a pullet. Is it called a pullet?
Ooh, good question. Now we're getting technical.
Yeah, they're the ones that you buy to fatten up and kill.
Okay. So pullets are probably the males?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All I know is...
Yeah, because a female that's old you kill to eat is called a broiler.
Broiler, yeah.
Ah.
So, see, all I know is hens lay eggs.
Hens lay eggs.
I know chickens don't, but hens do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's towns in France and Belgium that have been giving out free hens
Well done.
for years to combat food waste. How?
Well, I mean, you and I know the answer to this because we have had hens and chickens, pullets, in the past.
And a cockerel called
Rocky.
Yeah.
And we know that they eat absolutely anything and everything that they can get their hands on.
They love cherry tomatoes. They
Yeah.
love mashed potato. Yeah.
I think anything that you might consider food waste from your kitchen,
Food scraps.
bits you cut off the vegetables before you start cooking and eating them.
Apart from onion skin, they didn't like that.
Okay, I'll give you that. They didn't really take to onions
No.
and onion skins, but
No.
I think everything else they just
They loved
devoured.
it. Yep.
They devoured, didn't
Yeah, they did. They're very curious creatures as well,
Yeah.
aren't they? They're very funny.
they? Yeah. And I think it's safe to say that when we had our hens, we had zero food waste.
Yeah. Yeah. They were called Francis and the Francines.
That's true, yeah. 6 of them in total at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we did get lovely eggs from
Oh
them.
God, 6 eggs every day. It was too much. I was making ice cream. I was making custard. Cakes. I was freezing some on it,
Yeah.
but it was, really too much.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we wouldn't do it now because we don't eat eggs. So it's not something that we would do now. But we do know that you have zero kitchen scraps or kitchen waste when you have hens.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that these towns in France and Belgium are doing it. They're doing it to cut out food waste.
Yeah.
And there was a statistic, I can't remember where the statistic was in this article, but it talks about how much waste they have saved. There it was.
273.35 tons of bio-waste.
In about, it's over a 10-year period.
Yeah,
so,
that's not bad.
Yeah, so it's not like a vast amount over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But this is only a small scale project, a small scale experiment, isn't it?
A hen has a life expectancy of 4 years on average, and she consumes 150 grams of bio-waste per day. Now, it says 4 years, but I think they're talking about the years that it lays eggs. Our Frances, she was at least 7.
I would say at least 7 years, maybe 8.
Yeah, but she hadn't been laying eggs for 3 or 4 years, had she? She was just a pet then, weren't she?
Yeah, she was part of the household, wasn't she, really? She used to wander in the house,
Having
try and eat the dog's dinner.
Yeah, which Brinkley used to get really grumpy about.
Yeah. And she used to sleep in the woodpile.
She did. Yeah, as soon as the sun was going down, you'd got to put her back in her house. But if you didn't, she'd find somewhere, and usually it was the woodpile.
Yeah, she would go looking for somewhere to roost, and she loved the woodpile.
And she'd be fast asleep.
Yeah,
okay.
And she'd wake you'd go out in the garden the next day, and she'd be there sort of huddled in the woodpile. It was wonderful.
Oh dear, very funny. Okay, but I mean that's a lot of waste, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it says here each household was assigned a hen, and they gave out 5,282 hens to local residents. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I mean, there's lots of benefits for the people. Obviously, their food waste is not going into landfill and all the problems that causes with helium and O2, CO2 emissions and things like that.
They eat all the slugs in the garden.
They keep your grass nice and short.
Yeah.
Plus, each household was getting free eggs.
Yeah. So saving you money.
Yeah, so it saves money. Yeah.
And maybe it's a community thing. Maybe when people went away, they'd get their neighbours to look after their chicken, a bit more community spirit. It sounds like a fantastic idea.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite surprised it hasn't sort of taken on and become a bigger idea all across most of Europe. I mean, not everybody would want to have hens.
No.
I mean, I don't think we would want to have them particularly at the minute. Not for the eggs, anyway.
No, not for the eggs. I mean, they're lovely people. They're lovely people. They're lovely creatures to keep.
Yeah.
They're very funny. They make you laugh, but it's a bit of a bind, isn't it? Somebody's got to look after them. You've got to constantly check they've got enough food and water and where they are. And but I mean, what about let's think with our business hats on.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're saving on bio-waste.
Yeah.
Saving on waste collections. Somebody had to pay for the chickens, though, to buy them all, to give them out.
Yeah, but we know they're really cheap to buy.
But what about the egg manufacturers? The egg producers, the people who have all those chickens and to grow chickens to eat, and also they have the hens to lay the eggs. I mean, nobody's going to be buying eggs because they've got eggs in their garden.
Well, I mean, when you make any change, there's always winners and losers in a sense.
Yeah.
But the world is the Western world at least seems to be going through this idea of trying to limit climate change.
Yeah.
And around 1/3 of food produced for humans is lost or wasted globally.
Wow.
Now, some statistics say that's 1.3 billion tons of food waste per year.
That's ridiculous.
That food waste, when it is thrown away, it rots and it produces greenhouse gas.
Yeah.
And the estimates are that food waste is producing somewhere between 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions.
See, I think in most people's houses, though, they have a lot of food waste, unnecessary food waste.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think probably because they buy too much
food. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
I don't know. But governments could potentially save millions or billions if they adopted an ideas similar to this, in terms of not having to deal with the waste, landfills, and everyone would benefit from less greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose in an ideal world, everybody would stop buying too much food.
Yeah, but then also, I mean, a bigger impact, if you're talking about saving the planet, is getting everybody to stop eating so much meat. At least maybe one meal just have meat once a
Meat
week.
free Mondays.
Yeah, or something like that, because most land is used that grows crops, is growing crops actually to feed animals, isn't it? And then they produce lots and lots of waste.
Lots of methane.
Oh, gosh, it's just a dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chickens are just a small part of that.
Yeah. Well, so going back to the business idea that you thought, I mean, the food industry is huge.
It's a big industry. Make a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to make big changes to society, to food waste, then the whole food manufacturing sort of environment has to change.
But they're not going to, because they've got their hands on that money.
Yeah.
They don't want to change.
There's no incentive for them to change.
No.
Their incentive is to make more food that we as consumers buy. Whether we eat it or eventually throw it away, I don't think they really care.
No.
As long as they get their money.
Talking of ultra-processed food, they're trying to make food or manufacture edible substances out of waste themselves, aren't they?
Yeah. That's what they specialise in doing. They take waste products from industry and try and somehow turn it into edible things to sell.
Food, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Well, if someone offered you a free hen, Rach, what would you say?
I'd say yes, of course. Because I just think we loved having our hens.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is a commitment. It's a bit like having a dog or a cat.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just go on holiday. You've got to look after them.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about another element of the chicken industry, the egg producing industry, bird flu.
Yeah.
So bird flu is obviously a big problem for those big manufacturers, those big producers of eggs. If one of their flocks gets sick, they have to destroy the whole flock.
Yeah, but usually that's if they're free range and the true free range, as in the birds are outdoors.
Yeah.
Because if there is an outbreak of bird flu, everybody has to bring their birds indoors. And there's lots of battery hens, isn't there, that produce eggs that are indoors and they never see the light of day. Yeah,
but even those birds, even though they're indoors, something like another bird or a pigeon could get in and spread a virus.
Yeah.
And if all of them have to be, then to be destroyed because they have this flu, then the prices of eggs generally increases because there becomes a lack of supply. But if everyone has their own hens, they don't have to worry about the fluctuation in prices of eggs.
Well, I don't know. It says here in the article, it says there's a guy called Paul Behrens from the University of Oxford. He says that bird flu is an ever-present worry, and current regulations in the UK mean that they have to keep birds in fenced areas or indoors.
Yeah.
And this could be a problem for animal welfare, or even disease spread if people don't keep them fenced in or indoors.
Yeah.
So you're going to have people to check on them, welfare. So that new job creation?
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be. It's a very interesting article from the BBC. There's lots to think about.
Yeah.
Lots of ideas to explore in terms of if you haven't kept livestock in the past. Hens are an easy place to start. They're pretty easy to look after. Give them scraps from your kitchen and make sure they've got water, bit of grass to scratch on, and they're happy as Larry.
It does say that Behrens goes on to say that if you don't have hens, you can say it's okay, we compost, which we do now, don't we? But he actually says, even though that's better than nothing, what would be even better than that is not wasting things in the first place.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But like I said, that requires a big change in the whole sort of food industry.
Yeah, but he's suggesting that people might waste more food if they have hens.
Because they think they have to buy more food to feed the hens.
Which you don't.
No. Okay.
Interesting article.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have hens again in the future.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see some hens and bunny rabbits in the garden.
Rabbits, you and your rabbits.
Yeah, nothing wrong with bunny rabbits. Okay. You should have bunny rabbits in the countryside.
Okay. Right. All right, well, that's enough for this week. We'll speak to you next week.
And it's Easter.
Oh, yes. Happy Easter, everybody. With your eggs and your rabbits and your bunnies and your chocolate.
That's why this was a good thing to talk about, because of Easter eggs and Easter bunnies.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening. We hope you liked our podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe and stay connected with us. Until next time, goodbye.